Hello everyone and welcome back to a professional match of StarCraft 2. Today it's time for a Zerg versus Protoss, where we find ourselves on the map Romanticide. Now, when it comes to top level gameplay, I don't think it's really gonna get much higher level than these four players facing off against each other. Well, I guess it's technically not a four-man free-for-all, it's 2 versus 2 in the sense that it's time for another Archon Mode. So spawning here in the top left-hand corner, playing with the blue Protoss probes from the Netherlands as well as Germany. We have Harstem and Lambo and their opponents, both from South Korea. They go by the name of Solar and DRG. So, a couple of days ago, last Friday, if I'm not mistaken, I ended up casting a best of 5 series of Archon Mode as well, where Lambo and Harstem went up against, what was it? Dark and Björn, who played with the Terran pieces. If you haven't seen that series yet, I'll go ahead and post a link to it down below in the description of this video, so you can go check it out after this particular game. Either way, that turned out to be a banger, so I'm excited to find out what can happen in Zerg versus Protoss when the game, you know, especially early on, should be closer, at the very least a little bit closer to perfection. Especially things like, for example, creep spread, right? I don't think there's really any excuse, especially in the earlier to like middle stages of the game. I don't think there should be any excuse for it not to be spread around the map perfectly. This is also a little bit of a different game. So obviously Lambo is a Zerg player. Now I'm sure he's a more than formidable Protoss player as well, and obviously it's still a matchup where there is Zerg present, so it shouldn't really matter all too much. Dark, you know, when he grouped up together with Björn, Dark of course is a Zerg player, and then he was forced to play Terran. In this particular match, what I'm trying to get at is that we have both Solar and Dark, or sorry, Solar and DRG. So many names, man, and it's just early on a Monday morning. We have both Solar and DRG. Helping each other out here, and obviously they're both Zerg players, which, you know, can definitely help. I think it definitely makes things a little bit easier. One of them can take over the macro cycle very easily. Anyways, Zerg versus Protoss on the Romanticide is a well figured out matchup. 9 times out of 10, it's going to be a Stargate opener in Zerg versus Protoss in general, but especially on Romanticide. I mean, the third base is just so easy to defend with this big ramp over here. Already, there's a lack of a warp gate research. Second pylon in the main base. Should be a Stargate. Yep, there it is. I can predict the future. Nice. Yeah, see? So can Solar. I would like a little bit of chatting, actually. A little bit of banter. I mean, one player has APM to spare, right? In the earlier stage of the game. Very impressive indeed. So, why is Solar saying that it is going to be a Stargate opener? Well, basically, a Twilight Council and a Robo, they are 100 gas each, whereas the Stargate is 150 gas. Now, the Warp Gate research right here in the Cybernetics core is also 50 gas. So, if you see it being delayed, usually that means it's going to be a Stargate start. It's only by like 10 seconds or so, but yeah, it's not too surprising that they're already putting these Protosses right here on the Stargate opener, especially now with Harstem confirming it. Not that it really matters. The Zerg opener is going to be pretty much the same every single time. So they're going to find out. Yep, this Overlord right now is scouting that it's going to die. A little bit sad right here for the OV. But at the very least, you know what? It's giving its life for the Swarm. You can see this Overlord being microed very heavily, by the way. Normally, you don't put 100 actions per minute in microing an Overlord. But hey, in Archon Mode, everything's possible. Alrighty, so third base is going to be coming up very soon as well. One pesky little Zergling also microed with like 200 actions per minute. I like it so much, man. Obviously, there are certain things as well that help the Protoss out quite a bit. For example, even though there is quite a meme going around for like the last decade or so of StarCraft 2 that Protoss is all, you know, F2A move, as in like all army hotkey attack move. Not really the case, right? I know there's some unit compositions like Archon Immortal Zealot and just Zealot-based armies in general that are very attack-movey, but the actual like maxed out Protoss armies are very difficult to control. The same can be said for Zerg. So I mean, this is a longer game of Zerg versus Protoss. If we're gonna have some Stargate units, you know, in the late game as well, it should be very interesting to see what is technically possible, especially when Zerg can also control their spellcasters perfectly. Usually Zerg armies are very based around the Viper and then of course the Infestor and sometimes even Mass Queen. You can't really play all three very effectively just by yourself, but I guess in Archon Mode it technically is possible. Alright, it's even going to be a second Stargate right now as well. Warp Gate has finished, and now we also see the +1 flyer attacks coming up right here for the Protosses. So it is indeed going to be a heavy Stargate opener. So far, only 2 kills right here on this Oracle. One of them being a worker. Zerglings here on the other side of the map trying to get something done. I think they must have just killed a probe. 2 probes even. So hey, it's something. Obviously, it came at the expense of having these Zerglings made, right? So maybe Solar is macroing right here and he's saying, yo, DRG, here. Have 8 Zerglings. Go have fun. Pick off whatever you can, man. I don't want you messing with my macro. At least that's usually what happens in 2 versus 2 and then also in Archon Mode that I've experienced. You have one guy just sort of doing nothing for the first 5 minutes of the game because one player can usually do it more effectively. So, you know, you give him some units to have fun with. And you know what? These Zerglings have actually been pretty good. 2 probes. I think they also may have killed something over there. I don't know if that was a probe going down or a structure. I think it was actually just a probe. But now also canceling the assimilator a little bit. I mean, it's better than having these Zerglings sitting idly by on the creep. They've also obviously scouted a upgrade past the Warp Gate research. So, yeah, pretty much always going to be a Stargate follow-up. We haven't really reached the state in the meta yet where we do see that transition, you know, towards the +1 flyer, but then not towards Stargate units. That would be next level mind games. Either way, there we have the Fleet Beacon coming up, as well as a Spire. So look, another little thing that we don't really see is Overlords parked on top of the Spire. Now, I'm pretty sure that Lambo and Harstem will still scout this pretty easily, but if you have the Overlords all rallied on top of the Spire, I mean, at first glance, they may assume that it's something else, or they might not even see the Spire at all. It's a little thing. Definitely not bad, though. 6 Void Rays out at this point in time. Are we just going to go straight into carriers, or are we going to go for the Void Ray speed upgrade? I think those are the likely options anyway. 4th Nexus already planted down as well by the 7-minute mark, so... yeah, we're setting ourselves up for a pretty heavy macro game. I don't know if I agree with the Spire, though. So the Spire here is a little bit funky. Usually it's used to make Corruptors, but Corruptors kind of suck against Void Rays. Mutas suck against everything other than probes. So it is going to be 13 Mutas, okay. This has to be DRG, man. DRG loves Mutas. In case you're unfamiliar, DRG will go Mutas every game. If he can. Like, if he finds a situation where he can't make Mutas, he will make Mutas almost every single time. So, pretty sure that's what's going on. That being said, I mean... oh, there's already carriers coming up, man. Lambo and Harstem playing a proper boring game here. Anyway, anyways, this is like literally your average ladder game right now. Straight into Stargate, straight into carriers. They are following it up with a bunch of gateways. Okay, well, here we go to Mutas. Insta recall. Oh, they get one of them. Not bad. Yeah, so Mutas aren't a very good fighting unit, especially when the armies get a little bit bigger, but they're very good at harassment. So with 15, obviously, you can definitely take on the Voids. But when it comes to, like, harassing mineral lines, that's really where they shine. They're super good at picking off, you know, half a mineral line worth in, like, 2 seconds. Well, was that worth making the Mutas? Nope. Not really. Maybe they can get a little bit more. Not bad. Shield battery. No, shield battery. Alrighty. So actually, this is kind of cool. This is actually kind of cool right now. We do see a 3rd Stargate added into the mix. But now this Muta start over here is indeed forcing out Phoenixes. Now, since there was already a Fleet Beacon, we do now see the ranged upgrade as well for the Phoenixes. The Anion Pulse Crystals. Is this where I can flex my caster muscles? Yep, there it is. Oh my god, I'm so clever. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel. Thank you. What was I saying before I started patting myself on the back? Right, it gives the Phoenixes like +2 ranged. And obviously Phoenixes are already very, very good when it comes to fighting Mutas. Now these Mutas are basically going to be entirely nullified. Anyhow. 5th base coming up on the right side of the map for the Zergs. +1 melee also building. The Mama ship. Chrono boosted out. Archons are being added into the mix. And even though we're only 9.5 minutes or so into this game at this point, we're coming up on the point where Protoss is already maxed. Like, this Protoss Deathball is very, very scary. And, I mean, they've really rushed there. I'm actually, a Deathball rush? Is that a thing? I'm actually rather impressed. Yeah, hitting it by, like, the 10-minute mark. Not bad. Alright. There's the Ultra Cavern, Greater Spire, Adrenal Glands. Next, air weapon upgrades are already coming up as well. The creep spread, by the way. I mean, that creep spread is looking ridiculous. Like, 80% of this map is now pretty much covered in creep by the 10-minute mark. That's pretty cool. Did they add on more mutas? No, it looks like more. Yeah, these mutas really haven't been that great, huh? In the meantime, on the other side of the map, while the mutas are finally getting some damage done. And you know what? This is what they're made for. This is fantastic. There you go. Phoenix is out of position. 13 workers end up going down. We do now see a big Protoss army on the other side of the map. Only a few zealots finished warping in right there. Prism was already killed there by the Corruptors. Queens are added into the mix. We do see now a Parasitic Bomb and also a Brute Lords right there in the back. The Brute Lords are going to be able to take care of most of this ground-based army. And at that point, once the Archons are gone, I wouldn't be surprised if the Corruptors tried to jump on this force. Mutas still being microed on the other side of the map. Phoenix is also still being microed. Alright, so you know what? These Mutas actually... Yeah, they're all being sacrificed here just to open up more room for more supply. But, not bad. Speaking of not bad, these Zealots have been going to town. Just a handful of Zealots, but I think they're mostly responsible for those 17 worker kills. Ultra Cavern right there, protected by an Ultra. At least that's something. Alright. Did the Spire get killed? Oh no, it's just a second Spire. Pathogen Glands also coming up, by the way, for the Infestors right there. Below that cloud of Overlords. Alright. So we have a ground-based Protoss army over here. I like it. Going for the pretty quick forts as well to actually, yeah, be able to make that transition pretty easily. And then there's more of a Skytles army right here on the left side of the map. The creep spread is looking insane, though. They really need to get some observers out. Because this creep is actually, yeah, really hindering the Protoss quite a bit. Okay, the Queens are coming up. I mean, Queens are, without a shadow of a doubt, the best Zerg units in the game. Right? Like, I don't think there's really any debate as far as that goes. If you have creep everywhere, the Queens just kind of become, you know, even more OP than they already are. A little bit of a hit squad over here. They probably want to abduct whatever they can. So the Vipers, together with the Overseers, and then, of course, those Corruptors, they can abduct a lot of units, and obviously they're also kind of protected with those Overseers in the mix from feedbacks, for example. Speaking of feedback, High Templar, they're going to have their Sonic Storm done, so that's nice. Phoenix is right now kind of serving the job that those Mutas were serving here. Killing a bunch of stuff. There's a lot of worker kills, actually, in this game in general. Yeah, look at that. You would imagine there's not that many work kills here in total, but alright, Phoenix. You don't want those Phoenixes anymore, I guess. Or they didn't want those Phoenixes anymore, I guess. So what exactly is the strategy right here for the Protoss? I'm pretty sure they're gonna go for an all-out assault here very soon. They have a very formidable group of units right now, a very powerful set of upgrades as well. Oracles are being added into the mix, so maybe for Revelation? Yeah, I guess so. I mean, it's easy to look at this and think it's a Skytles-based army, but the majority of the Protoss units are not a Skytles unit at all, right? So these Ultralisks are kind of forcing out additional Immortal Archon production. And even though there are still, you know, definitely a bunch of flyers over here, you don't want to go all Corruptor right here if you're Zerg. If you go too heavily into the Corruptors, yeah, this Protoss army over here will just absolutely smash you. Okay. Storm right there goes down on top of the Archons, but they don't really care. The Zerglings will be killed. Looks like the Ultralisks also are pushed back quite easily. In the meantime, we do have that other Protoss army down south. A lot of Spore Crawlers over here. A bunch of Infestors. A couple of, yeah, Vipers. And, of course, that Queen army. I mean, there's not really that much you can do there with, you know, without, like, the entirety of the Protoss army. The Mothership, obviously, also has a very useful skill in this sort of situation called Recall. Mass Recall. Essentially, what you can do is you can fly, for example, this Mothership into the Zerg's main base and then recall the Protoss army towards the Mothership. And obviously, if you are in trouble at that point, you can recall back towards the Nexus as well. So there's a lot of room here for maneuvering around. I like this, though. It's essentially two Protoss armies being used in unison, right? Look at that. Zerg forced to split up their units as well. Spore Crawlers now running towards the high ground. A couple of Banelings here into the mix. Not entirely sure what they're going to be able to achieve. Gotta be careful here as Zerg, I guess, that you don't accidentally get your Ultralisk caught right there in that in that Spore Crawler forest. Alright, so rather than actually engaging here with a big army, Protoss is just trying to expand. Bottom left-hand corner has been acquired. They're basically trying to take their entire side of the map. Recall right now utilized over here as well, as these units are a little bit overextended. They could recall to this one and then, you know, try to fight. I would like to see a little bit, yeah, I would like to see a little bit more of that. Okay, feedbacks go down. A couple of Fungals also go down. Brute Lords trying to throw a couple of Broodlings, so that's something. Okay, 2 High Templar ended up going down. So what exactly do Solar and DRG hope for at this point? Well, I think they're mostly hoping at this point for a bit of a miscontrol from the opponents. It's just gonna be very unlikely, right, to see a miscontrol. Like, I'm saying it, I don't, like, obviously getting a couple High Templar, that was nice, but there really shouldn't be that many miscontrols in a matchup like this. Here goes that army once again up north. Harstem Lambo, feeling comfortable, it seems. At the very least, they're in the driver's seat of this game so far. Action has been mostly on them. Yeah, they're also waiting right here, the Zergs, that is, for their upgrades to finish up. So that's one of the reasons why I go double Spire. Feedback being used here. Couple of Brute Lords here split off from the pack as well, just to help out, because just the Ultras alone are not going to be enough. Oh, here's the recall. Offensive recall towards the Mama ship. I love it. The Zerg's army all the way down south. There's Revelation right here on these Brute Lords, so the Protosses know exactly where that Zerg army is located. I think you should try and go in for the kill, shouldn't you? Kill on that base, that is. Yeah, in the meantime, they are mining the bottom left-hand corner, so makes a lot of sense. High Templar do get fungled. Okay, a couple of them apparently split off from the rest. The last, yeah, okay, the last 2 will also end up going down. At this point, though, the Brute Lords have arrived. They're no longer down south, meaning that the Zealots are trying to get some work done. Base in the top right-hand corner gets killed. 1 Ultra, though, and a couple of Zerglings. They're taking care of it. There's the -400, -400. Yep. Mama Ship Core does get abducted and sniped pretty much right away. Recall right now utilized on everyone, except for the one legend right here with the cape. Poor guy. He's like, hey guys! 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 Hello? Oh my god, is he gonna make it home? Well, I guess there's no Zerglings here. There's really not much to catch up with the High Templar, even though it's one of the slowest units in the game. That Zerg army is even slower. Alright. He did it. Protoss taking the base at the 12 o'clock position as well. So far, their income has been really stellar. Yeah. Look at the bank as well, right? So, if you look right here at the army value, you can see that the Zerg's army is very, very expensive. Zerg usually mostly limited as far as gas goes, and they currently do have a ton of gas in the bank, so that's very helpful. The same can be said for Protoss, also very gas limited. They have a slightly smaller gas bank, but I don't think it really matters all too much. Alright. Base at the 6 o'clock, absolutely destroyed. Center base here, no way. Absolutely no chance. Yeah, this Zerg army is just too slow to be able to hold on to everything properly, right? So, like, now the Brutes show up, but this squad over here has already done the job. Do you want to, like, split up the Brute Lords? I guess that's technically a problem. Okay, so this is nice. Yep, this is really nice here for the Zergs. They end up blowing up a mineral line worth. They kill a base. Couple of Brute Lords. Oh, God. Or, sorry, a couple of Zerglings right here to get it with an Ultra. They can't really go home very easily. Yeah. They're kind of stuck between a Skytle's army and a Groundtle's army. Although, apparently, the Skytle's army is feeling generous. The creep has been contained very well, though. Considering it was covering like 80% of the map a few minutes ago, well, like half a game ago, It's now definitely not looking nearly as hot. The Spore Crawler Forest is being built. 8 more are coming up. There's already 30. So it's going to be the main source of anti-air, I guess, for the Zerg army. Hydras, nowhere to be seen, but I can't blame them. There's like 17 units in this Protoss army that will... 17 types of units, that is, that will deal with the Hydras just fine. Are they trying to take the 6 o'clock base for their own? I kind of like it. It makes sense. Like, this Zerg army is mostly located up north. The Protoss army is really, like, split up. But Zerg can't really engage it without the spores. So, with the Protoss army this split up, it definitely creates a very difficult solution for the Zergs. Like, do they decide to push this? I think they need to, because if they don't, they're probably going to be in a lot of trouble. But the Brutes, once again, slow as they are, they're making their way down south to try and, like, look at them, man. It's like the slots from, like, what is that movie? Zootopia? I think they work at the DMV there. Anyway. Anyways, they're like slowly moving down south, making their way to defend. And by the time they arrive, the expo is gone and the 6 o'clock has been acquired. Mama ship has recall available once again. Hell yeah, let's go. There goes the Stargate army. The Stargate army right now defending the 6 o'clock position. Oh god, okay, that was a really good fungal. Can the Brutes, where's the Brutes? Oh, there they are. Slowly, okay, yeah, they can't make it, man. Zealots right now at the... Dude, the Zerg players are being played like a fiddle. The Zergs here are being absolutely destroyed. So what exactly is the issue here for the Zergs? Well, they're not getting their income. They're not really getting nearly as much income as they need. They can't really move away very far either because the High Templar, they outrange Vipers as well as Infestors. So their feedback ability can outrange all of the Zerg spellcasters. And yeah, it's like, I'm pretty sure if Zerg decides to engage down south, this army up north should go in. Alright, so there is a lot of static defense over here. Queens are over here too. They need to fight this with the Ultras. At the same time though, this army over here is getting some work done. Yeah, DRG and Solar, I mean, they're thinking about sending that Protoss, or sorry, that Zerg army down to, or up to the Protoss rather, that's all the way up north. Already a ton of static defense has been killed. Very nicely played here so far by Lambo and Harstem. My god. So they will kill the base in the top right. They also did just kill a ton of static defense. I'm not even entirely sure what Zerg should be doing differently. I guess they should play this a little bit more aggressively, but I don't really see where or how. Like that Ling run by right there with the Ultras was really sweet, right? That was very good. I love though that they have never really maxed out on full Skytles and just, you know, flying units with High Templar support in general. Maybe this is an overextension, though. Zerglings are coming up. Archon's still pretty good against Zerglings. Ultra's coming in from the back. Queen's trying to transfuse this. Oh my god. Well, I thought the Zerg army could maybe get some work done here, but... that Immortal has 27 kills. Pretty sure half of those are Ultralisks. Storm right there on top of the Corruptors as well, forcing them to back off. So the fight is being won down south again, too. Okay, the Brute Lords finally have arrived. I would love to see like a late game Brute Lord buff. Like a speed boost or something, you know? You know, I think it's in co-op, they have a skill called like, or an upgrade called like Advanced Cartilage, I think is what it's called. Anyways, it makes the Brute Lords faster. I think that would be cool. I don't know, might be broken, I'm not sure. But Brute Lords feel so useless. Like, the Brute Lords, here's the problem, right? So the Brute Lords absolutely destroy every Protoss ground army. The Void Rays right now are being recalled over here, by the way. The problem is that, like, the ground army just runs away as soon as the Brute Lords get close. Right? So, like, it's an awkward unit to have. That's one of the reasons why normally we see a heavy focus on Stargate units. Because Zerg actually can absolutely demolish, like, Protoss air, or sorry, Protoss ground in multiple ways. So, Infestors together with, like, for example, Brute Lords are very good. Vipers together with Lurkers are very good. Even just Ultraling Bane or Hydraling Bane is pretty good against, you know, ground Protoss. You can even go just Road Ravager, right? However, against air, Zerg definitely is a little bit more vulnerable because there's not that much great anti-air for Zerg. I mean, there's the Corruptor. And there's the Queen. And then there's the well, I guess the Vipers and Infestors too. They're spellcasts, obviously. But there's the Hydra, the Corruptor, and the Queen. Those are like the reliable sources that you have. Corruptors are best in class for sure, together with like Vipers and Infestors and Queens. But it's an awkward situation to be in. Yeah, so Zerg definitely very formidable against the Protoss ground armies. Not so good against the Protoss air armies. And he creates situations like this. Either way, they are still maxed. They're trying to take back one of the bases that's normally theirs. Mama ship. Okay. Ooh, good. Ooh, good fungal. Parasitic bomb, fungal growth. That's what we want to see. Okay. One of them goes down. Second one of them also goes down. Third one goes down. This is a heavy overextension right now without the Archons. Yep, this Protoss air army gets absolutely shut down. Battery overcharge at the very least saves one of them, but I think there might be enough Zerg to just power through that. At the same time, though, there are units inside of the main base as well as over at like the I think it was like the 5th base or so of the Zerg. They're going to be able to once more take care of 2 hatcheries here, that ground-based Protoss army. New Ultra Karen being made. Another Brute Lord is being added into the mix. Yeah, this was a heavy overextension right here by the Protosses. They do have... Oh my god. They're going Tempest right now, which I love. They have 6 Stargates. So even though normally this Protoss army is quite slow to max out with, looks like they're just again gonna try max out. And it should only be like, I don't know, 2 or 3 production cycles. It's pretty speedy. The Zealots over here, though. Ooh, they've gotten rid of the Greater Spire, and they're going to be able to get rid of the other Spire as well. The Hive is still up, so at the very least, they can still make a new Spire if they need to. Those Void Rays from earlier, look at that. 26 kills, 25 kills, 4 kills, 22 kills, 37, 47, 63! My god, dude, these Archons have so many kills. That's insane. Together with the Voids, they have been extremely worthwhile. Zerg, though, after... yeah, getting rid of the bottom left-hand base. Apparently, they're going to try and make their way back. Oh, come on, man. There's a Protoss army to fight. Go home. Okay, the Vipers at the very least have got some energy again. Corruptor's also plenty speedy. Okay, Fungal. So that's finally going to get rid, I guess, of those hero Void Rays. Prism also not going to live for very long. They actually got the 6 o'clock base up and running. There's a Zealot over here, or a Changeling rather, pretending to be a Zealot, but it gets scouted as well. Alright, Brute Lords. Yeah, you ideally want to hover them in the center of the map, right? Oh, Fungal Growth from the low ground. Okay, gets one of the High Templar. But now the Tempests are in the mix as well, and I love the idea of going for Tempest here. There's a couple of Oracles still available as well, so the Oracles can provide a Revelation that basically allows those Tempests to shoot at their maximum range. I believe it was Neep a little while ago, right? That we basically saw just making Tempest in the late game and not a single carrier, which was kind of cool. Okay, Abduction over there. No Fungal. Okay, well, there's a Fungal. And he is going to be able to finish it eventually, or they're going to be able to finish it. Corruptors trying to get into a decent spot. Prismatic alignment, though, forcing those Corruptors back home once again here. Okay, Zerg completely broke, by the way, at this point. Only 70 minerals in the bank. They have a lot of gas, but not really a whole lot to spend it on. A new drone is added into the mix as well. They're basically just mining the center base. Tempests are picking off these Infestors and Brute Lords from a very long distance. My god. Oh, this game is, as a Zerg player, right? This game is starting to be so painful, man. It feels so extremely rough. But there it is. Lambo and Harstem do indeed pick up the victory in an epic macro game of Protoss versus Zerg.